All right. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, everyone. How are you? I hope that you are doing great. I am so happy to be on with you guys again. My name is Miss Seisha, and I am the founder and executive director of ABC Read. ABC Read is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is to develop and nurture a culture of literacy in Black and underserved communities. We have been doing this for 10 years. We are in our 10th year, y'all. So I'm just like extremely, extremely happy about that. Um, and what we do is we give away books like this. Here's an example, which is the book that I'll be reading to you all this evening. It is 8 o'clock evening for me. It might be afternoon or morning for you. But these are the types of books that we give away. Books that represent Black people, Black culture, Black experiences, Black traditions. And we do that on purpose. We also give away books for adults as well, like this. All right. So this is The Counter-Revolution of 1776, Slave Resistance and the Origins of the United States of America by the Gerald Horne. If you don't know who he is, please go look that brother up. All right. Phenomenal brother who is, again, he's on a mission to tell the truth, give the narrative of our history as it pertains to enslaved resistance. He's done a lot of work. And again, like I said, I implore you to please make sure you go and look him up. All right. So with that being said, I am going to get on into the story. I decided to choose this story, Mommy's Khimar, by Jamilah Thompkins-Bigelow, illustrations by Ebony Glenn. I wanted to choose the story because actually the month of Ramadan is soon fast approaching. So for those of you who do not know, Ramadan is the ninth month on the Islamic calendar. And this is a month in which Muslims observe the fast. All right. And I'm going to I'll talk a little bit more about it when I read the story next week, which is going to be on Ramadan. But I just wanted to just brief those of you who are listening and watching, those of you who don't know. And Ramadan is the time in which we fast, which means for us, because you have people who do fast in other faiths in other ways, but the way we do it as Muslims is we fast from sun up to sundown. So we get up for like about an hour and a half before the sun rises. All right. And actually, well, I'll say even before our first prayer, which comes in an hour and a half, typically before the sun rises. So we get up usually before then, and we eat a light meal, which is called sahur. And it's many blessings in that meal. And so we eat so that we can obviously get nourishment throughout the day, because we're going to be going throughout the day when it's daylight hours from sun up to sundown. No eating or drinking, no chewing gum. All right. So, when when a Muslim is fasting, you know how it is when you're not eating or drinking, you know what I'm saying? That breath start, okay. And so, but, we believe as Muslims that that breath of a fasting Muslim is like a sweet scent to Allah, to one God. And so that's how even just with fasting, it's a spiritual cleansing. It's definitely something that's spiritual based. All right. Yes, it has many health benefits, as it pertains to our bodies, our minds, and all of that. But the main thing is the spirituality piece. And so, of course, you have Muslims who are preparing for Ramadan. And I know there are going to be, those of you who are in the workforce, like myself. I'm still a substitute teacher. I'm a private tutor. That's my private reading tutoring business. And I also run the nonprofit ABC Read. So the work doesn't stop. Now, we definitely, know how to, usually we try to take it easy as much as we can. But, hey, we still have to keep moving, handling our business. Might be just a little bit slower. But with that being said, that was on my heart and on my spirit. So I said, let me, I want to read something that, is connected to the Islamic faith. And also, for those of you who don't know, there are one of the biggest groups of converts to Islam are African Americans, Black people. Okay. So, I know a lot of you out there who aren't Muslim, you have Muslims in your family. It definitely, this is a great way, like I talk about all the time, the entry points. That's why I do the read alouds, how I do them, and how I get these different books so that it can create conversation about different topics, and whatever it is. And in this particular book that I chose, Mommy's Khimar. And for those who are not familiar with the term Khimar, Khimar is what the Muslim sisters, what we wear on our heads. And sometimes you hear it being referred to as hijab. All right. I usually say hijab now. I used to say Khimar when I first became Muslim 31 years ago. But now I tend to more say hijab because the understanding that I had is that hijab was more related to the actual head covering, and Khimar was more just our whole covering. So, but hey, either way is fine. And I'm just going to get right on into it now. So let's begin. Again, this is Mommy's Khimar. Jamilah Thompkins-Bigelow is the author and illustrator, Ebony Glenn. All right. A khimar is a flowing scarf that mommy wears. Before she walks out the door each day, she wraps one around her head. In mommy's closet, there are so many khimars, so many that I can't count them. Black ones, white ones, purple, blue, and red, stripes, patterns, and polka dots too. Some have tassels, some have beads, some have sparkly things all over. And she has my favorite color, yellow. When I put on mommy's khimar, I become a queen with a golden train. Under the khimar, my braids and twists form a bumpy crown. It's not easy to cover the many plaits mommy puts in my hair. When I wear mommy's khimar, I shine like the sun. I dive and become a shooting star into a pile of clouds. Of course, I make sure that mommy doesn't see me. When I wear mommy's khimar, I am a mama bird. I spread my golden wings and shield my baby brother as he sleeps in his nest. Mommy shakes her head, but her eyes are smiling. When I wear mommy's khimar, I am a superhero in a cape, dashing from room to room at the speed of light. Daddy snatches me up and I fly. Mommy can't stop laughing when his bristly beard tickles my cheek with a kiss. When I wear mommy's Khimar, mommy is with me even when she's away. I close my eyes, and if I breathe in deeply, really deeply, I smell the coconut oil in mommy's hair and the cocoa butter on her skin. And if I breathe in even more deeply than that, I smell the cinnamon in her favorite dessert. She always shares a piece. When I wear mommy's Khimar and my mom visits after Sunday service, she sings out, "Sweet Jesus," and calls me sunshine. My mom doesn't wear a Khimar. She doesn't go to the mosque like mommy and daddy do. We are a family and we love each other just the same. When I go to the mosque wearing mommy's Khimar, the older women coo, "Assalamu alaikum, little sis." My Arabic teacher exclaims, "Beautiful, beautiful hijab." Hijab is the word she uses for Khimar. Sometimes I say hijab too. When I wear mommy's Khimar and we go home and it starts to get dark outside, mommy tells me gently, "Take it off. It's time for sleep." She removes the Khimar from her head and I remove mine. We hang them up for the night. I look around at all the Khimars, too many to count. I stroke the yellow scarf one last time. I close my eyes and breathe in deeply, really deeply. And if I breathe in deeply enough, I can take mommy's Khimar with me. I place it inside my head. I take other things and place them there too. A crown with a train, the sun and shooting star, a baby dozing on a golden wing. I take a ticklish kiss in the sky, coconut and cocoa with the cinnamon sweet, and the prayers of gray haired women. I take all these things with me and go to sleep. Though mommy is away, it feels like she comes too. The end. Wow. I just got reminded as I'm reading this story how beautiful this story is, man. Oh, man, it's just beautifully written. Don't you just feel all warm and fuzzy like listening to that story? That's how I get. I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, I love the delicate way in which it was written, because it just goes to show you that here it is, this little girl who's growing up seeing her mommy wearing something to cover her hair, and especially being in a society that's not majority Muslim. As you saw in the book, how, she embraces her grandma, even though her grandma is not Muslim, even though her grandma, she calls on Prophet Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him. And those of us in the Black community, we are very well aware of that. A lot of us come from families where we grew up Christian. All right. And so, being Muslim, of course, a lot of times, you're looked at as the oddball, at first and everything, especially us as sisters. I know for a fact, you know, becoming Muslim. And then it's like, now, what? You covering your hair, and then you still getting it done. Like, what's up with that? Are you crazy? Girl, what's going on? All right. So having to deal with all of that, that right there, that could be very, very challenging. So with this book right here, to me, I think, again, creating the conversations. I would definitely highly recommend those sisters who have just became Muslim, and especially you may have children, to make sure that you get this book and then share this book with your family members who aren't Muslim, and highlight the fact in here that yes, in our faith, we are still connected to our family, even though we aren't in the same faith. We all still believe in the same one God, right? And so again, God tells us, and of course, as Muslims, we say Allah. Allah tells us to make sure that we keep the ties of kinship with our family. We keep connected with our families. And I know that can be challenging, especially if you may have family members who are like really, they may have an issue, a strong issue. They may be adamant about not, feeling like, that you turning into a whole new person, and what's going on with you, or with all of these types of things. But again, that's why it's great to have books like this, because then people can see, they can learn like, oh, wait a minute, okay, this little girl, she's not being forced. And that's another aspect. This is a little girl. In Islam, when you are not puberty, when you're little, you do not have to have your girls wear hijab, period. And they should be able to see the hijab worn in a way where it is something that they want to do. They should look at it as something that's positive, something that makes them feel good. That's why I'm so grateful that now, since I became Muslim, I remember a time where the hijabs, you didn't have a lot of options. And even the material, it was all, stiff and everything like that. So, we definitely, those of us who can relate. And like I said, I became Muslim 31 years ago in the 90s, early 90s. Okay. So I remember them times. And now the hijab has evolved. Okay. I mean, sisters, it drapes, it got all kind of colors and glitter and, beads and everything else. And that's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this story. And I would like to end with one last thing. I've been posting, for those of you who've been seeing me post, we have the upcoming Black History 101 Mobile Museum headed by Dr. Khalid El Hakim. Okay. This brother has been curating this museum, putting it together. He's been doing this for basically 30 years. Okay. And he is just phenomenal. He was a former educator, I believe in the Detroit school system. And he decided that the different things that he was already collecting, he said, you know what, I'm going to turn this into a museum. And I want to show my people, and I want them to be able to come and learn and enjoy and have conversations about our history, our experiences, our traditions, our culture. And that's what we have in right here, inshallah, God willing, in East Cleveland, the phenomenal East Cleveland Public Library, 5-star library, okay? Tuesday, March 5th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it is going to be phenomenal. This is his second time here. All right. When he was here the first time, we was like, brother, you coming back? What's going on with you? Because this is just beautiful. And so, yes, we know it's on a Tuesday. Okay. People have been saying it's a Tuesday, kids got to work, folks got to, go to school. But guess what? Just like I'm quite sure there are times in which you've taken off for certain things that you might have wanted to do or whatever the case. Put this, as an option. I know that everybody is not going to be able to do it. I get it. But at least highly consider it. Highly consider having your kids come, taking them out of school early that day. Making sure that the teachers know, like, yes, I'm taking them to a place where this is about their education. This is about their history. They need this. Because if a dog gonna show, they ain't getting it in the schools. So with that being said, we hope that you all can show up and show out for those of you who are in the Cleveland area. And then for those of you, if it's easy for you to get here and you're out of town, please make sure you show up. Come, show your support. I'm telling you, we want a packed house for real. All right. So I'm going to end right there. Again, my name is Miss Sasha. I thank you all for listening, and make sure as you see the ticker below, please make sure that you donate, because that is how we're able to get these books. All right. These books like this book in particular, this book costs $18. And we bought multiple copies of this book. And this book right here, this book probably was about 20 something bucks. I don't see the price on here. All right. These are the kinds of books we like to have in the hands of our community. All right, period. We're intent on making sure that we building home libraries, and we are creating conversations around literacy. We are empowering our community. Okay, so please donate to ABC Read, $ABC Read via Cash App, or go to our website, abcread.org. All right. So thank you all for listening. Make sure that you take care. Please keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And yes, reading is freedom. Peace.